Chapter 24. I awoke still wrapped in the sweet warmth of Keith's arms. I could hear the sound of rain on the roof, one of those freakish summer showers peculiar to L.A. 4 bars of every rain song I knew went through my head. Rhythm of the Rain by the Cascades, Walking in the Rain by the Ronettes, Pennies from Heaven by Bing Crosby. I moved back against Keith's body. This could easily get to be habit-forming, and fell back to sleep. It rained off and on all that morning, and half the afternoon, and I spent it all with Keith. His kiss was as fresh and sweet first thing in the morning as it had been the night before, and when I awoke again, we picked up where we'd left off. By the time I found myself flat on my back, toes in the breeze, with Keith between my thighs doing a slow Watusi against my belly, I had a pretty good idea what was on the big boy's mind, even before his right middle finger found its way to my asshole, introducing itself and beginning to get acquainted. Long before he actually whispered into my ear, "I'd really like to fuck you." Now the idea of having my kidneys relocated by Keith's big Nordic Schwanzstücker was more than intriguing in the abstract, but rather like the thought of being gangbanged by West Hollywood in its entirety. It seemed the kind of thing that might make much better fantasy than reality. The fact of the matter were that my nether regions had never before been approached by a tool of the proportions of Keith's, and the length and girth of said wanger held the promise of some discomfort, at the very least. Permanent internal damage was not out of the question. Keith, no doubt, read my reticence on my face. He could probably feel it on his finger. "Hey, babe." He took my face in his hands. "I won't hurt you." "I'd never hurt you," he said. "I promise." And I wanted to believe him. "I want to be inside you," he said. "I want to be one with you." Now let's face it, very few men could read that line and make it play. Keith did, somehow. Maybe it was the finger trailing up and down the cleft of my behind, I don't know. At any rate, he kissed me. A soft, sweet little baby kiss, and my fate was sealed. I've already told you the sort of effect Mr. Kelly's kiss had on me, so it should come as no surprise that when Keith kissed me, then looked down at me with the imploring eyes of a small boy begging mom for a nickel for the ice cream man, and said, "Please," it was all over. I was his as surely as if he'd picked me off the notions counter at Woolworth's and laid down cash for me. It was all over. I was his as surely as if he'd picked me off the notions counter at Woolworth's and laid down cash for me. Keith suddenly jumped out of bed and rummaged through the nightstand drawer. He snorted a little and slammed the drawer shut. He headed to the bathroom, his hard dick preceding him, waving like a divining rod. I could hear him opening and shutting drawers and cabinets one after another. Then he left the bathroom with a frown creasing his brow. "Right back," he said, exiting the bedroom. I heard a rapid bump, 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 bump of Keith's feet against the carpeted stairs, and after a minute or two, the more widely spaced boom, boom, boom of him taking the stairs at least 2 at a time. Back in the bedroom, Keith was just a bit winded, but still erect. In his hand, he held a 1-pound tub of whipped butter. Brando again. "Sorry," he said, "it was all I could find." He approached the bed slowly, as if afraid I might object to being sodomized with a high-cholesterol dairy product. "It's unsalted," he announced, sounding so much like a television commercial and looking so much like the centerfold of a Boy Meet magazine that I just had to laugh. He climbed back into bed, where he proceeded to send me to the ceiling, nipping the inside of my thighs with his lips, tonguing the underside of my dick, and slowly working, first one, then another, and finally another finger up into me. I bucked up and down like the mechanical horse in front of a grocery store, pushing myself up into Keith's face and pogo-sticking on his hot, buttered fingers. By the time he pulled his fingers out and handed me the plastic tub that I might, oh so literally, butter him up, I was ready to attempt just about anything he might think up. I generously buttered, as Betty Crocker might say, Keith's dong, and buttered his balls just for fun. Shiny with the grease, Keith's whacker was an awesome sight indeed. I said a brief, silent prayer as I wiped my hands on a towel and laid back against the pillow. "Now just relax, babe." Keith grasped me by the back of the knees and raised my legs high. I did my level best to relax. I used all the relaxation exercises I could remember from sensitivity group. I breathed deeply and slowly. In, out. In, out. I imagined myself on a big cloud, floating. I silently talked. I silently talked the tension from my body, piece by piece. The tension is now leaving my neck. Breathe, breathe. The tension is now leaving my shoulders. Breathe. My back, my lower back, my buttocks, my... Just before the tension was scheduled to leave my sphincter, Keith began entry. Slowly, gently, with all the tenderness and care possible. It hurt like a son of a bitch. It felt like the first of a 2-year-old boy. It felt like the fist, sorry. It felt like the fist of a 2-year-old boy. I nearly ate my own fist trying to muffle the scream. Oh my God, babe, I'm sorry. Keith cried. Oh wait, no. I gotta reread this. It felt like a son of a bitch. It felt like the fist of a 2-year-old boy. I nearly ate my own fist trying to muffle the scream. Oh my God, babe, I'm sorry, Keith cried, pulling back. No, I said through clenched teeth and fingers. Just give me a minute to get used to it. I breathed. I floated. I did my best to talk my asshole into relaxing itself around the big, red-headed intruder. I thought about yawning, big, wide yawns, about the Holland Tunnel, about the Grand Canyon, and slowly the pain began to subside. My eyes still shut tight, I whispered, "Okay, go slow." "No," Keith said. "You do it." I reached out and took Keith by the hips. I ran my hands up and down his big flanks and slowly pulled him to me. Did I mention that Keith's kiss was better than some men's fucks? Well, Keith's fucks were, as Al Jarreau used to sing, better than anything.